o'clock. ABC 10 News at 5 starts right now.
ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
I knew this job would be hard, but I'll be honest, I never could have imagined anything like this.
Tonight, the governor of Michigan is thanking law enforcement for foiling an alleged plot to kidnap her and overthrow the government. Good evening, I'm Lindsay Pena.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. 13 people are now facing charges. ABC's Rena Roy has details on the plot prosecutors say was planned for months.
She was one of the top choices for Joe Biden's running mate in the 2020 presidential election. And now federal and state authorities revealing Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer was also the target of a premeditated, intricate murder plot.
The alleged conspirators are extremists who undertook a plot to kidnap a sitting governor.
Authorities say 6 men arrested Wednesday night are accused of training, gathering weapons and tactical gear for months with the goal of kidnapping Governor Whitmer before Election Day, even allegedly constructing and testing improvised explosive devices to target law enforcement so they could attack the Capitol in Lansing and destroy a bridge. 7 others allegedly linked to the militia group Wolverine Watchmen also facing charges under Michigan's Anti-Terrorism Act.
The individuals in custody are suspected to have attempted to identify the home addresses of law enforcement officers in order to target them, made threats of violence intended to instigate a civil war.
According to investigators, suspect Adam Fox said he wanted 200 men to storm the building to take hostages, including Governor Whitmer, and would try her for treason. They'd then use Molotov cocktails to destroy police cruisers.
This case is one of the largest cases in recent history that the MSP has been involved in.
In late July, Fox and another man, who was actually a confidential source for the FBI, allegedly scoped out Whitmer's vacation home, taking photos and videos. Fox saying, quote, "We'll go out there and use deadly force," according to the criminal complaint. The FBI says it first learned of the group's alleged plot early this year and began using undercover agents to track their activities, including a meeting in June when authorities say the suspects discussed violently overthrowing multiple state governments they believed were violating the U.S. Constitution.
When I put my hand on the Bible and took the oath of office 22 months ago, I knew this job would be hard. But I'll be honest, I never could have imagined anything like this.
The 6 men who were arrested Wednesday could face life in prison if convicted on the federal charge of conspiracy to commit a kidnapping. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Quite a turn of events. All right. Also, it looks like next week's presidential debate is canceled. Today, the Commission on Presidential Debates announced the second scheduled debate would be virtual because President Trump could still be contagious with coronavirus. The president responded in a phone interview with Fox that he would refuse to do a virtual debate. Instead, the Trump campaign claims it will now hold a rally next Thursday night. Meanwhile, Joe Biden has since agreed to do a town hall with voters right here on ABC 10. George Stephanopoulos will moderate that. All this as the White House releases a memo quoting the president's doctors as saying that they, quote, fully anticipate the president's safe return to public engagements at that time. And right now we're looking into accusations made by San Diego mayoral candidate Todd Gloria. Gloria says he has been receiving death threats, and now San Diego police are investigating. The death threat messages refer to Gloria's vote on a bill the governor signed that gives a judge more discretion to decide if someone must register as a sex offender if they had sex with a minor, regardless of whether the offender was gay or straight. Advocates say it ends the law's discrimination against LGBTQ individuals. In a press release, Gloria blames local politician Carl DeMaio and his mayoral opponent Barbara Bree, saying that they are misrepresenting what the bill does. DeMaio says Gloria is, quote, desperate to distract voters from his indefensible support for the controversial law.
Now to the coronavirus in San Diego County. If the county wants to continue reopening parts of the local economy, it's going to have to meet a new state metric. The health equity metric is designed to reduce disease transmission in hard-hit communities. ABC 10 News reporter Adam Rakusin looks at what impact new state guidelines have on local businesses.
Walk down 3rd Avenue in Chula Vista. You can't miss some of the South Bay's top places to eat.
People call, Dave, can I get a table? And I say, well, we put you at the top of the list.
Tony Rasso runs La Bella Pizza Garden. The restaurant's been in the family for about 60 years. While the pandemic's thrown them some curveballs, they've been able to adapt.
Between La Bella Cafe and the original Bella's, we had 100 workers. And we've just adapted to a smaller facility, of course, because we had to close down the cafes. We're still at 80 plus.
Tony would like to open up more seating for more business, but that's going to take a move in the tier system, and San Diego County just isn't there yet. I asked him about the state's new metric and what impact it could have.
It's going to help to focus where the problems are. And maybe the community will come together and they'll realize that it's time to do it right.
Now, along with case and positivity rates, the counties will also have to hit a health equity metric. It makes sure test positivity rates in the most disadvantaged neighborhoods do not significantly lag behind the overall county test positivity rate.
Really, this change of direction is really a good thing, because I think that you have to focus on getting the resources where the infection rates are the highest.
Mary Casillas is the mayor of Chula Vista. Early on in the pandemic, the South Bay was hit hard. She says what happens in one part of the county will impact the rest of it.
Do you think if done correctly, this could actually speed things up for reopening?
Sure, because it gives everyone an incentive to get those numbers down.
For Tony, he's going to focus on what he can control and do it right.
We're excited, feel the community love, where the Padres are screaming, and I hope they win tonight.
Adam Rakusin, ABC 10 News.
The metric won't be a factor to push the county back into a more restrictive tier, but it can prevent it from moving forward. And here are the latest coronavirus numbers for San Diego County. 291 new cases were reported, bringing our total to 49,446. And there were 6 new deaths, bringing that total to 819.
The family of a young man who was shot and killed while hanging out with friends in a Carlsbad apartment over the summer say that courts have failed them. They are upset because the man who supplied the gun just got probation. As ABC 10 News reporter Leah Pizzetti explains, the victim's family still wants justice.
At just 18, Connor Mangseth inspired everyone to live their lives to the fullest.
Connor was absolutely loyal, and he was taken way too soon.
That motivation cut short in July of this year. Connor went to his friend Gerardo Gonzalez's home in Carlsbad. Gerardo, who was out on bail for a felony, had a gun and gave it to a 16-year-old girl. She pulled the trigger thinking it was empty, killing Connor. They then tried to hide it.
The worst part is the things that happened after that. It was that Gerardo Gonzalez and this minor, they left to go hide the gun. They created a false story involving 2 other gunmen, and they spent 20 minutes doing this as opposed to anyone calling 911 or getting help.
Connor's sister Sabrina says she wants justice for those actions, but she says justice was not served. Gerardo was charged with accessory after the fact and child endangerment, pleading guilty, then sentenced to probation and up to a year in jail, a punishment Sabrina says does not fit the crime.
It is, absolutely terrible that the justice system doesn't uphold morality in any sense for his actions that he chose to do.
She started a petition saying the plea was made without communication with the family, asking the courts to take more time to investigate, but with Wednesday's sentencing, that hope is gone. The district attorney's office brought in a second prosecutor to finish the case, and Sabrina says that prosecutor did do a better job of communicating with them. When asked about the plea deal, the DA's office said in part, "This is obviously a tragic case, and we've been in very close contact with the victim's family in recent weeks as we continue to seek justice for their loss." Now, this family wants the community to know their frustrations.
Gerardo Gonzalez himself in the trial said, Connor was my best friend, and for him to do that to his best friend, I can't even imagine what he would do to a stranger, someone else.
Hoping to keep Connor's legacy alive by continuing to demand justice. Leah Pizzetti, ABC 10 News.
The 16-year-old who pulled the trigger does face murder charges. She is expected in court November the 9th. 24 local undocumented immigrants are facing deportation after a major sighting by Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. Those that haven't been deported yet are being held at the Otay detention facility. ICE tells us it's the latest in the battle between California and the federal government over sanctuary laws.
The reason why we did the operation is, again, this is a continuing effort to raise public awareness of the dangerous sanctuary state laws passed by the state of California.
Immigration rights activists say the raid is an attempt to stoke fear ahead of the election.
They have the right to remain silent. They have the right to make a phone call. They have a right to not be mistreated when they're being apprehended. All these rights still apply.
Those raids were part of a roundup across the state, which led to more than 100 arrests.
Louisiana is bracing for another hurricane. This is what Delta looks like from space. The National Hurricane Center says it's already packing sustained winds of 115 miles per hour. ABC's Alwyn Lopez looks at how weary residents are getting ready.
Hurricane Delta barreling toward the Gulf Coast after pummeling Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula as a Category 2 storm. 100-mile-per-hour winds peeling off roofs, washing up boats, now gaining strength as forecasters project it heading toward Louisiana. Weary residents boarding up trying to once again prepare for another storm that could be heading their way.
I'm 60 and I cannot recall ever having this many storms hit Louisiana in one season.
In a back-to-back hurricane season, Delta is the 6th storm to take aim at this state in just 4 months.
When you have to deal with it every single day, and I mean every day, without a break, right, it does wear you down.
Lake Charles under mandatory evacuation. Thousands there still recovering from Hurricane Laura just 6 weeks ago, now bracing for what Delta will bring.
Even if a structure made it through Laura, there is absolutely no guarantee or no assurity that that structure is going to be safe for Delta.
The mayor of Lake Charles is asking people not to let their guard down. Delta is expected to make landfall in western Louisiana sometime Friday afternoon. Alwyn Lopez, ABC News, Lafayette, Louisiana.
And Hurricane Delta has been gaining strength as it moves over the warm waters there. So as of right now, a Category 3 storm, winds at 115 miles per hour, and it has the potential to continue gaining strength before making landfall tomorrow as it likely a Category 3 storm Friday morning, pushing into portions of the Louisiana coast. We're looking at up to 15 inches of rainfall. Storm surge at 11 feet. It will decrease in strength as it pushes inland, giving areas of the mid-Atlantic states a lot of rainfall, pushing up through the Ohio River and the Mississippi River valleys. And unfortunately, we do still have a month and a half left at least of this hurricane season.
All right, Jen, thank you. In the meantime, it is a must-win time for the San Diego Padres. You're getting ready for Game 3 of their game against the Dodgers tonight. Our Ben Higgins is outside of Petco Park right now with this must-win situation. Ben.
Yes, Steve, it's Elimination Thursday in Major League Baseball, and the Padres do not want to become the latest victim. Earlier today, the Miami Marlins and Oakland A's were both sent packing, and going on behind me right now, the New York Yankees are battling to stay alive against the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, the Padres are now trail their best-of-5 series against the Dodgers 2-0 after last night's heartbreaking loss in Texas. Cody Bellinger had the play of the night, robbing Fernando Tatis Jr. of a go-ahead home run in the 7th inning by going above the wall in center field, one of those plays that can change the entire course of a postseason. Now, the Padres still gave it a run in the 9th, pulling within 1 run and loading the bases before Eric Hosmer grounded to second base for the final out, putting the Padres in that 0-2 hole. So they'll need to win 3 straight against the Dodgers to advance, but not that different from last week when the Padres needed 2 straight wins over the St. Louis Cardinals to make it out of the wild card round. If you ask any baseball expert, they tell you the Padres have almost no shot at all, but you wouldn't know it talking to manager Jace Tingler.
But what I do, I take my eyes to a coaching staff that's prepared. I take my eyes all around the room to a group of players that, since I've known them, have worked incredibly hard in early work and extra work, and they're prepared. So my confidence and peace comes from the men that are around myself in that clubhouse.
And guess what? If the Padres do win, we get to go through this all again tomorrow. Live from outside Petco Park, I'm Ben Higgins, ABC 10 News.
Let's hope to see you there again tomorrow then, Ben. All right, thank you.